With the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, I'd argue that Nintendo is playing it a little too safe, which there's nothing wrong with that. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But I feel like this console generation really needs some kind of new IP to get people talking. And what do people really like right now? Live service games. Now, this isn't an easy market to tap into. Many companies have tried and failed in making a game that captivates audiences and makes players keep coming back. Nintendo, however, I think could really succeed in this genre by making their own type of hero shooter. Because hero shooters are freaking awesome, and Nintendo has an insane amount of characters that would be perfect for it. So today I have compiled a dream roster of 30 Nintendo characters that should be playable in this game. Hey Nintendo, I did all the brainstorming for you. Now all you gotta do is just make the game. Let's start off with the first class of characters, the tanks. Bowser. Is there a better way to start off this list than with the most iconic villain in Nintendo? Bowser is a beast with years of iteration to help beef up his kit. Bowser will act as a dive tank, focusing on jumping into the center of the enemy team, causing some mayhem. Melee characters are going to be taking damage if they attack Bowser from behind, thanks to the spiky shell that he wears. And speaking of that shell, Bowser will be equipped with a dash, hiding in that shell, boosting himself forward to stun enemies in range. Adding to his mobility, he will also have a high jump that he could use to get in or out of situations. Bowser is going to pretty much just be punching, grabbing, breathing fire onto enemies. And for his ultimate ability, he will summon a wave of baddies from the Mario universe to flood the battlefield. Snorlax. There's a lot of characters that obviously need to make it into this game, but we can't deny that with the 30 character roster, we also have some room to be a little creative with it. Snorlax is a giant lazy creature from Generation 1 of Pokemon that we all know and love. Rocking the most health in the game, this is going to be an insanely tough Pokemon to take down. He's pretty much just going to be a moving wall. Snorlax is going to have a short-range slam and a bite ability, which allows him to swallow an enemy whole and hold them in his stomach for a short amount of time, damaging them over time before he eventually shoots them out. And for his ultimate ability, we're going to have Snorlax charging down the battlefield, waving his arms around, damaging anyone he comes in contact with. Ganondorf. Another very, very essential pick for this game. Ganon is going to be an offensive heavy tank running around the battlefield with his sword, delivering brutal blows to anybody nearby. Ganon will have a chargeable slash and punch that'll be slow in executing, but delivers massive amounts of damage if he hits the enemy. For his ultimate ability, I want him to summon the Calamity, with a red smoke cloud appearing in a radius around him, damaging the enemies and giving him and his allies strength and speed buffs. Donkey Kong. Now, Nintendo this year has been really pushing for this Donkey Kong rebrand. They've even been giving him his own standalone 3D game. At the time of making this video, it's not out yet, but it seems pretty cool. It only just made sense that Donkey Kong should be in this game. Also, it is Donkey Kong, so of course he's going to be in this game. Okay. Donkey Kong is going to be another dive tank focused on stunning and singling out the enemy. I'd want Donkey Kong to deliver heavy slams onto the ground, causing chunks of the floor to chip out, blocking the enemy's movement. I'd also think it'd be pretty cool if he was able to grab onto enemy characters and chuck them across the battlefield, singling them out. I'd want Donkey Kong to constantly be moving, swinging around the map on jungle vines, jumping and running on walls of the map. And for his ultimate ability, let's bring Diddy Kong into battle. Diddy Kong will ride on top of Donkey Kong and just be shooting at enemies, dealing some extra damage to people close by, and shooting out the ones in range that Donkey Kong just can't happen to reach. Ridley. Now, I haven't really played any of the Metroid games, so I don't really know much about this character, but I have been a Nintendo fan for long enough to know what this character is capable of. Plus, I think it'd be cool to have a tank that could fly. Ridley is going to be soaring through the skies, shooting down fireballs onto the enemy. He's going to be more of a ranged tank, soaking up damage and picking off enemies from afar. But be wary, because he will be able to shoot himself right into the middle of battle, slamming onto the ground to fight in the front lines if need be. For his ultimate attack, Ridley is going to become Mecha Ridley, overall enhancing his abilities and damage output. Okay, honestly, I'll be real, I didn't really know what to put for his ultimate. Is Ridley and Mecha Ridley two different things? I don't know. Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon is a character I know about due to his appearance in the Super Smash Bros. Games. I mean, I know that he's from the F-Zero franchise. I've just never personally played any of the games, and Nintendo doesn't make any more F-Zero games, so I never even got a chance to. Captain Falcon is going to be a shield-based tank, throwing out little F-Zero cars onto the battlefield that are going to project giant bubble shields around them, which will protect his allies. I know he doesn't have that ability like in any of the games, but I feel like we got to be a little creative with it. He's going to be another melee-centered character using his Falcon punches and his multiple shield options to take down enemies and stay alive while doing it. And for his ultimate, I'd want him to summon a line of cars in the enemy's backline driving towards him, knocking enemies into his direction. King DDD. This character has a lot of versatility, from his rocket hammer to his army of Waddle Dees to his ability to just fly around. King DDD is going to be roaming the battlefield, sending out Waddle Dees to shield his allies and charging up his hammer to boost around, damaging anyone he can. And for his ultimate ability, I would just love it if he was able to summon like a wave of spears to rain down onto the enemy from like a bunch of the spear Waddle Dees throwing them. That would be pretty cool. Louis. Pikmin just might be my favorite Nintendo franchise, and Louis might just be my favorite character from that franchise. Pikmin sadly isn't the most popular Nintendo franchise, so many people might not know about this character, but he 100% deserves to be in this roster. Louis isn't going to be by himself though, rather he's going to be riding on top of the boss of Pikmin 4, the giant dog. He's going to have an elemental-based moveset, having the dog send out fire, electricity, ice, poison. Louis can also take to the skies if need be, because for some reason, this dog can fly. When Louis' health bar reaches 0, he's going to jump off the dog and run around the battlefield, throwing pick carrots while he waits for the dog to respawn. Think of it like Diva or Hulk from other hero shooters. And for his ultimate ability, Louis is going to summon the Titan Dweevil to roam around the map and cause even more chaos. That was all my picks for characters in the tank class. Is there anyone you think should be added to this list? Let me know down below. And while you're down there, hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. Oh, no, not 5,000. What the heck? Hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100K before the end of the year, and you would really help me in doing that. Now let's move on to the support class. Yoshi. I'd want Yoshi to be more of a technical pick. Not only is he going to be throwing out eggs that cause splash damage or healing depending on who he hits, but also Yoshi famously can be ridden. With the help of his flutter jump, I'd want Yoshi to be able to help his teammates get up into positions they normally wouldn't be able to. Yoshi should also be able to shoot out his tongue, latch onto enemies, and swallow them whole, laying them as eggs to stun them. And for his ultimate ability, I'd want him to send out a wave of Yoshis that his teammates can mount, improving movement speed and healing. Shulk. Shulk is another character I don't really know too much about. I'm kind of just basing this off of how he plays in Super Smash Bros. Shulk is going to be more of a DPS-centered support pick, running around the map using his Monado to slash down enemies. He will have an ability enhancement aura around him that boosts not only his stats, but also his allies. The ability boost is going to be heavily dependent on which of the modes of his Monado is active. For his ultimate, I'll also just say he has a team-up ability where he summons other characters from the world of Xenoblade to help assist him in battle. Mewtwo. He's going to be an aerial-based support character. Mewtwo will be keeping his distance, shooting out psychic blasts from afar, sending out shields onto his teammates, and constantly teleporting around the map to get into better positions. Mewtwo is a clone of Mew, so I figured we should add that whole clone idea into his kit. He's going to be able to create multiple versions of his allies to confuse the enemies, heal his allies, and just overall assist them in battle. And for his ultimate ability, he's going to be able to Mega Evolve into Mewtwo X or Y, depending on if you want to play more offensively or defensively. KK Slider. KK Slider is going to be running around the map, strumming his guitar, uplifting his teammates with his beautiful melodies. KK is going to be a very status effect centered support character, increasing healing or speed or damage output while also stunning and slowing the enemies. For his ultimate ability, KK is going to put on a spectacular concert, causing the enemy teams to just stop moving and just marvel at KK's marvelous performance. Ness. Ness is going to be heavily reliant on his abilities, needing to constantly find the perfect balance of sending out damage spells while also absorbing incoming damage to refill his PP meter. Ness is constantly going to be shielding himself and allies to soak up damage, and for his ultimate ability, he's going to call upon the rest of the Earthbound team to help assist them in battle. Olimar. Yeah, I love Pikmin, so That's why Olimar is here. Olimar is going to play a lot like his character from the Pikmin franchise, plucking Pikmin from the ground and throwing them at enemies. The Pikmin are going to be latching onto enemies, causing damage over time. He can also latch them onto his allies, allowing them to get healed over time. There's a lot of different types of Pikmin in the Pikmin series, so there's going to be a whole randomization mechanic to his kit, allowing for other status effects to get applied as well. Olimar will start off the game with 6 Pikmin, and for every enemy he defeats, a Pikmin pellet is going to be dropped on the ground, which Pikmin can grab and bring back to him, allowing his overall Pikmin count to be increased to about a max of 10 Pikmin. This, however, will reset on death. For his ultimate ability, Olimar is going to summon a giant glow Pikmin spirit bomb and throw it at the enemy team. I just think it sounds really cool. Inkling, boy, and girl. The Inkling is constantly going to be coloring the entire field in ink, creating an area of enhancement for their allies. Inkling is going to play very, very similarly to how they were played in the Splatoon franchise, constantly swimming through the map and splattering whoever they can. And for their ultimate ability, they're going to throw out a giant AoE ink bomb covering the map and even more ink. Peach. Princess Toadstool is one who really cares about her people. She is going to be a very heavy healer-based pick, probably being the most effective in keeping her teammates alive. Peach will have quick dashes to move around the map and an army of toads to flood the battle and sacrifice themselves to keep their princess in tip-top shape. For her ultimate ability, she will activate her Mask Thief costume from the Princess Peach Showtime game, increasing her team's overall damage output to help turn the tide of battle. Rob. Everybody's favorite robotic buddy is here. Rob is going to spend the game equipping his team with a bunch of gadgets to shield them from incoming damage, or he'll place down damage amplifiers to strengthen his team's damage. Rob is heavily going to be leaning into the gadget aspect of his character, helping his team create or break chokeholds in the game. And for his ultimate ability, Rob is going to throw out a giant nuke with a lingering smoke effect that damages enemies and heals his allies. That's all the characters I had for the support class. Now let's move on to definitely the most important class in any one of these games, the DPS class. Mario. You can't have a game like this without having Nintendo's main guy. Mario is going to be a nice all-around pick, being able to compete in hand-to-hand combat or at ranged combat at the flip of a cap. Speaking of Cap, Mario is going to be teamed up with Cappy and be able to use him to parkour around to get to higher areas. Mario is going to start off in his base form, but after losing half his health, he's going to downgrade to Mini Mario, which lessens his damage, but increases his movement and attack speed. And upon using his ultimate ability, Mario is going to throw out his cap onto the enemy team, completely taking control of one of them for a short duration and activating their ultimate ability to use against them. Link. This is just another essential pick that just genuinely needed to be in this game. Link is going to be another sword fighter character. He's going to be very quick, agile. Link is going to be equipped with a multitude of items from his game, like the grappling hook and the bow and arrow, bombs, the ocarina, and a Epona, I guess. I just thought it'd be really cool to just have Link ride into battle on a horse. For Link's ultimate ability, he will equip the Master Sword, greatly increasing his overall power until it runs out of durability and it breaks. Pikachu. I want Pikachu to be small, powerful, and incredibly difficult to hit. Using his electric attacks to zip around the field and shock enemies, Pikachu is going to be a mid-range fighter, allowing for him to frontline, but ideally stay close to some of his other teammates, allowing for them to soak up the damage instead. Pikachu is going to be sort of a glass cannon character. Only the truly skilled will be able to make the most out of his kit. For his ultimate ability, Pikachu will call upon Ash's Charizard, mounting him, and fly through the skies, sending down thunderbolt attacks onto the enemy. Tom Nook. Tom Nook is a very greedy man, but today he's deciding to share the wealth by reaching into his bell bag and chucking money at the enemy team. Tom Nook will be applying debuffs onto the enemy by placing them under crippling debt, and when he is low on health, he's going to be able to rely on taking a second to drink some fresh coffee from the roost to heal up. For his ultimate ability, I'd want him to summon a cloud of bells just raining down from the sky, damaging the enemy team. Samus. Again, I've never really played a Metroid game, so I don't really know everything that like would be really cool to add into this kit, but I have a basic idea of who Samus is and what they can do. Like, she could send out missiles and charged beams, and when things get tough, she could turn into that morph ball and roll out of combat. With Metroid Prime 4 apparently coming out later this year, there's also talks about her having other abilities, like some psychic abilities, but the game isn't really out yet, and we don't really have a good impression of everything that she could really do, but we could probably add some of those moves into her moveset as well, because I think that would be pretty cool. For her ultimate ability, I'd want her to jump into her ship and take to the skies, scanning and revealing the enemy's location and sending down missiles onto them. Pit is going to act as our sniper class, playing from super far back, using his bow and arrow to precisely take down his foes. Pit, with the help of Palutena, will be able to use his wings for a short amount of time to fly through the skies to get a better angle on his opponents. For his ultimate ability, he will equip his Fortune Bow, improving the accuracy of his shots and dealing even greater damage. Fox. He's going to be a blaster character, using his laser gun to shoot down the enemy. Fox will be able to shield himself from incoming shots and use his Firefox abilities to blast himself into or away from harm. And for his ultimate ability, I'd want him to send down a giant laser from his R-Wing. Kirby. This adorable little pink puffball could literally beat God. This character, I just want him to be very complex to play, in all honesty, because Kirby, there's just so much he could do. He's going to be able to run around the map, absorbing enemies or his own teammates. I felt like he needed to be able to absorb his teammates' abilities just because it'd be really hard at first to get close enough to the enemy without dying. Kirby players are going to have to play very, very strategically with their approach. They're going to have an incredible game knowledge to understand who they need to target to best capitalize on the current situation, or they could just not do that and completely throw the game. Kirby's ultimate ability is going to be a massive suck, swallowing all of the enemies in front of him and running off with them before eventually spitting them out. Ike. Oh my god, another sword fighter character? Oh, dude, this game sucks. And it's a Fire Emblem character? Oh, man, this is horrible. Look, that's a joke. There's too many sword fighter characters in Smash. Originally, I had Marth as the Fire Emblem representative, but I've always thought that Ike had more drip. Ike is gonna, he's gonna swing a sword. Honestly, I don't really know what these Fire Emblem characters do. And for his ultimate ability, we're gonna have him just swing a sword, but it's like he's gonna do it even better than he did before. Zelda. I always thought it was really cool when in the Legend of Zelda games, Zelda was actually a part of the game. Like, she wasn't just a damsel in distress that Link had to save at the end of it, but actually a character who would be able to help the main protagonist. So with that being said, I want her to partake in the battle as Sheik. If you're playing as Sheik, you're going to be more offensive based, more like sneaky and just throwing shurikens and trying to catch people off guard. And when you turn into Zelda, you're going to be playing more like backline, defensive, just putting up shields and just overall supporting your allies. For her ultimate ability, I want Zelda to call upon the 4 champions from Tears of the Kingdom to assist her in battle. Wii Sports. This character should probably be called Nintendo Switch Sports, but that game sucks. So Wii Sports it is. This dude is going to be swinging a baseball bat, throwing bowling balls, and hitting tennis balls in the enemy's direction. The Wii Sports guy is going to be a menace, and this is when Nintendo will, for some reason, annoyingly add that like this character can only be played with motion controls, and that just is going to make him completely useless in competitive play. For his ultimate ability, he's going to be putting on boxing gloves, running around the map, knocking out anyone he can get his fists on. Torchic. Okay, this is our 4th Pokemon representation in this game, so I know it's getting to be a bit much, but with the other Pokemon characters, they're just missing one key factor of Pokemon that I just think is very iconic, and I really wanted to capitalize that on a Pokemon character. So Torchic is here, and he's going to be evolving. Now, I know there's a lot of Pokemon characters that I could have picked from to take this place, but I just really wanted Blaziken to be in this game. You're going to start off the game as Torchic, but as the game progresses, you're going to slowly be evolving up into Combusken and then eventually Blaziken. You're going to be a pretty squishy range character at first, just sending out Fire Blast to burn the enemy team, But then eventually you're going to turn into a beefy melee fighter that looks super epic, that just rushes in to do some epic hand-to-hand combat stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And for his ultimate ability, this was just another really easy answer. He's gonna be able to Mega Evolve into Mega Blaziken. Waluigi. For years, people have asked for this man to be a part of Smash, and it never happened. There's probably hundreds or like thousands of posts about people just begging Nintendo to please add Waluigi in Smash, and they just don't do it for whatever reason. I decided to just add him to this list. Here he is. Waluigi is going to be kicking some butt. Waluigi is going to be a ranged character hitting golf balls at the enemy player because he is in Mario Golf, and that's what he does. He's also going to be equipped with a dash attack where he jumps into a race car and zooms into opponents because he's in Mario Kart, and that's what he does. And for his ultimate ability, Waluigi Pinball. Giant silver balls are going to come crashing down onto the map as Waluigi maniacally laughs at the chaos, because Waluigi Pinball is pretty cool. And what else does Waluigi do? Also, no, Wario is not going to be added into this game. This time Wario is going to be benched and Waluigi is going to get his time to shine. That is my entire 30 character roster. Who would you want added to this game? Let me know down below. And while you're down there, subscribe and go watch some of my other videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. See ya.